Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the call. Pyle driving his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort.
Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal. We're paving your way to fantasy glory, acting as your lead blocker to all the fantasy championships and excellence and all that stuff raining down on you that you've been waiting on for probably most of your life. It's the off season, but it's only, like I said last episode, the off season's getting shorter and shorter because here we are halfway through June, and what are we, like 3 months away, tops, I'd say. High twos. Almost. I'm pretty excited about it. So, why not do another baked best ball draft? And that's where we're going today. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, the Wolf of Roto Street himself. How's it going?
I'm feeling fantastic, Truth. Just like last time, sparked up right beforehand to keep with the consistent theme of the show. It's always great to feel that. We'll definitely have some great talking points as we go here. One of the strategies, and kudos to one of our diehard fans out there, Dookie Bruce, one of my favorite guys. I've been a day one fantasy fullback dive fan, that love the guy. He pointed out, the Deshaun Watson strategy. You guys feeling any different about that from last time? So we'll make sure to hit that probably here right at the top. We got 5 picks. As you guys know, we'll pull up the draft as we go. The talking point today will be the 10 biggest risers of the offseason, but similar to last time, if you enjoyed the show last time, we're hoping to keep these ones a little more free-flowing, a little less structured. Of course, we'll give you some insight and some stats as we go. But, yeah, I'm just excited to dive into those winners, talk a bit about that big 180 I'm now taking on the Browns, which we talked about last time, and then whatever weird – last time what was it? How many snakes are in dozens of snakes? Like whatever weird shit.
Yeah, if somebody says, like, they found dozens of snakes somewhere, how many are they talking about?
Exactly. So, what did we decide last time? I said like 6, 7.
We were pretty close on that. We both came in around like 65, 70, like 80 tops.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Plus the Celtics tonight, big game 3 coming back to Boston. Let's go. So, let's get this ripping. Let's go.
I really don't know how to predict that series. I said Celtics in 6, but after watching the first 2 games, I really have no idea what's going to happen. No result would really shock me. I don't know. They're pretty evenly matched. And with that said, if one of these teams would win the next 3 games, I wouldn't be that shocked either.
Exactly. So, it's a great, that's what I love about it. So unpredictable. I'm still sticking with my Celtics. I think it's going to go the distance though. They're going to win it on the road as they have all this entire playoff run. So I think that's just going to stay consistent. We're going to go 7 games. We're going to take it on the road. Hey, maybe we win both at home, but they've been really better on the road than at home, right? Like the record is completely makes no sense to me, but hey.
Yeah, the Warriors have been excellent at home. So we'll see what
come down to that
we
quarter,
snagged
right?
we snagged one in Golden State. So that's actually not a bad thing.
Third quarter, baby. Can we win that third quarter? That's going to be the key.
So far, no.
We've been getting slapped.
Anyway, I went to the store today for this exact podcast.
Yes.
And so I dropped the kids off at school, and then I was on my way home, and I was like, oh shoot, I should just go now. And so I showed up there at 9 a.m., which is right when they open. So I was the guy waiting at the door literally when the store opened this morning. Right. The optics of it weren't great. But
yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I got this stuff that was super on sale, and it's really, really good.
Always love a good sale. That's good stuff. I'm on something called the Queen Mother's Goji. Came highly recommended from the bud tender there. It's actually a hybrid, though. I know last time I raved about sativas, which is typically my go-to, but trying out this hybrid. Hopefully I'm not quite as chatty as last time, or maybe, who knows? Maybe people like that. I have no idea. But
people love it.
What's the name of yours?
It's called Captain's Cake. And I was able to get 4 of these. If I bought 4, I got it $20 an eighth. So I bought 4. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, we are one person away from the draft starting, Wolfpack. So as you're tuned in there, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up, helping us grow, helping us get out to more people, would be so greatly appreciated. Let us know you're there. The chat was such a blast last time with everybody telling us what strains they were smoking and asking us about our favorite high cereal. And just those were the type of questions that I think make this show just more fun to do. Not that I love all the shows we do, but I was really looking forward to getting going again because last time the chat was great. I felt like we had a great conversation the whole time. So I'm really pumped to get into this.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm thinking about our last best ball team that we had, and it was one of the best stables of backs that you could possibly assemble. We had Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Zeke. To start. I mean, what a bell cow stable there.
With Josh Allen too.
Josh Allen, right.
Yeah, just absolute horses. I mean, he's a horse himself. I pulled up the draft, by the way, not to interrupt, just because it is going, and we are going to be pick number 5. It starts in about 35 seconds. So
where do you like picking in these things?
I really like my teams at the top. I love getting Cooper Kupp again, whether that's at 1 or 2. I love just the teams that the guys I typically target in round 4. I typically take whether I'm right at the beginning of 4, like Zeke. I'll take him if I'm, pick number whatever that would be 37, or he's often will fall all the way to pick like 48, where I've already loaded up with some of the high end talent. So I love the top of the drafts. I mean, you can do anything from any point of it, of course, best player available. But to me, the top 2 to 3 picks is really where I've been thriving.
Okay.
And here we go. So yeah.
And Jay Taylor off the board right away.
Jay Taylor, he's typically the one pick. And so as we go, we're talking about Nick Chubb and some of our Browns. So I do want to talk about, as it gets towards our pick, one of the biggest news and biggest impacts on the rankings, which you can find over at rotostreetjournal.com/bigboard, my top 200 and all the player rankings as well. I've been very high on the Browns and Deshaun Watson. I figured, his name getting cleared earlier in the offseason. We look like we were also in the clear as fantasy owners to just take the plunge and hope that it's a light suspension. But lately, the latest news, very disturbing, multiple cases now coming out against him. In addition to those reports that he got like 66 massages in 12-month span. It's just
we're on the clock.
Well, yeah, that's one thing to check. So
I like Eckler here, honestly.
Deal. Let's do it. Let's take Eckler, and then we can keep breaking down this news. I was in full agreement there.
Okay,
love Eckler
cool.
at 5. Only guy I would consider, that conversation we had about Dalvin Cook on the last episode has me reconsidering where I want to rank him, just because, again, that idea of Dalvin Cook and the Todd Gurley offense. I don't want to, if you want a whole argument about it, go back to last pod towards the end. Great. Just that was one of those high thoughts that came out. I was like, why have we not been making a bigger deal about this? The way he can catch the ball, averages the most yards per reception of anybody, receiver or running back for the last 3 years. According to Scott Barrett, our guy, I mean, the guy's going to feast in this new wide open, marrying the run and pass. He's up to number 5 in my consideration, but Eckler's right there above him. So yeah, I'm with you. Back to Deshaun Watson though. So all these disturbing details coming out. One really graphic, just messed up story. So one, just drafting him feels sicker and grosser. And now I'm already kind of like, damn, I have, 30% of my teams have this asshole on it. 80% of my teams have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who was supposed to blow up with this deep ball connection. But obviously, that's just, it's gross. I don't want anything to do with him at this point on the off-field sense. But obviously the impact too is on the field. Nick Chubb gets a little less attractive. If I was thinking 16, 20 potential touchdowns with Watson at QB with this offense explosive. Because you got to assume now with this all coming out, the lawyer also saying there's a good possibility NFL is going to make a decision that he doesn't like. Rumblings, it could be the full season, possibly longer. The Browns might be looking to get out of the contract. It all is just gross. And now, ultimately, I don't really want a ton to do with them. So, yeah, I'll take Chubb at a certain point, but certainly not where I was taking him at like 15 to sometimes he'd fall to 25. I was like, oh, my God, I got to steal. That's where I'd probably look at him now.
Do you think the NFL was going to do something anyway? Because it was kind of coasting along like, oh, this guy's probably going to play. There was like 22 allegations against him. And now what? Now that there's 23 or 24, now they're like, oh, that's too many.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Right. I think, I mean, it sounds like
isn't that how it seems? Kind of.
It seems like they conducted an investigation and were kind of pleased with what the results were. And whether that means he lied and there were just details he withheld, which will definitely mean an iron fist comes down a little bit harder. It does seem like they were ready to just kind of toss it under the rug, more money for the NFL to have this guy out on the field create a better product nonetheless. But yeah, to me, it seems like now they're going to just, with so much hitting them in the face right now, they have no choice but to do something and probably do something drastic. So all those guys for the Browns. David Bell, the rookie who's taking first-team reps, seemed very exciting. David Njoku was the tight end I have the most ownership of. Amari Cooper, I've been drilling in the 4th round. Loved him for a while, but yeah, no, I'm
Can we throw the big board up there real quick?
The big board?
Yeah, I want to see the players available because we're up next.
Oh, yeah. The big board on here. I was going to say, I can pull my ranking short.
No. I love your big board. Wow.
We're up next. I got to say, some other news we wanted to talk about was the fact that Deebo Samuel is going to report to camp. And I know you love Deebo. I obviously love Deebo too. The fact that he's going to camp, there's some good vibes. He's the guy I'm thinking, other than maybe Kamara. What are your thoughts?
I was honestly thinking Kamara, although I do love Deebo.
I'm okay with Kamara. You have a clear leaning to one or the other?
I mean, I tend to lead running backs.
All right.
At this point, if I can. And
Kamara's going to get frozen. Oh, no, it refreshed. We're going to get DeAndre fucking Swift auto-drafted right here.
What?
Yeah, because it froze. God damn it. Yep. Oh, no, we got Deebo. I guess we did get Deebo. Swift must have just gone before. And not that I'm mad at him.
I'll take Deebo. That's fine.
I'm happy we got Deebo instead of Swift. We shouldn't be that upset about Swift, who, I don't know if you've seen those pictures, looking fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Right now. It obviously points per touch, all that. Efficiency, God, off the roof. But to me, I think DeAndre Swift's one of the more overrated round 2 picks. Like the fact that he goes over Kamara, if he became Kamara, we'd be thrilled. Why not take the guy who was the RB4 with Jameis Winston at QB that we've seen do it time and time again? So I know I'm selling us on Kamara.
Is there any chance here? Is there any chance here that Nick Chubb is going to fall to us?
Probably, yeah, because of all the disgustingness around the Browns. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I've seen him falling into round 3 a lot. Do you think we pull the trigger on Chubb, or do we lean back into Josh Allen again?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, remember what last time I think we got. Did we get Allen with our 4th pick or our 3rd pick last time?
We got Josh Allen with our 3rd pick. Yep.
Okay, and then we got Zeke with our 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh.
I'm
Josh Allen is seductive.
He really is, especially now with like one of my favorite QBs in best ball just completely erased and a new strategy. Oh, there goes Chubb anyways. So I think that it kind of answers it. Either Keenan Allen or Josh Allen.
Way rather. Josh Allen's so much sexier than Keenan Allen.
Yeah, let's just keep building these. I know it's like very similar to last stream, so that's the one thing I was like, for content's sake, maybe we do a different thing, but it's just too much of an advantage for me to pass up. Plus, it's so you saw last stream, and I think we do the same idea here. You can just stack those bills up. If we get Gabe Davis round 5 again, Dawson Knox round 8 or 9, Crowder again, Singletary. There's so many interesting but also cheap plays on the Bills that are just going to consistently rack up points. So yeah, I'm all in on the Josh Allen plays. So yeah, I'm there. I'm good with it.
Also, guys, if you are watching, and I know there's not many of you right now watching, but if you are watching, give us a like and tell people we're on, because it's a kind of random time that we decided to come on. So hopefully people realize we're streaming and show up at some point.
Yeah, I had to do a work lacrosse game tomorrow, so not our usual Thursday time. I apologize for that. But, we wanted to make sure we got on there. So, yeah, I mean, so we talked to Deshaun Watson. We talked Deebo Samuel showing up in camp. The other guy that I was considering there in the 3rd round is Saquon Barkley. He might have just gone just a couple picks ago. And I know the injury concerns, all that stuff is a little frightening. He went the pick before, so we couldn't have even considered him, I guess. But all the reports out of camp, the guy is catching more balls than he's ever done. He's moving all over the place. He said himself, I've never been this active and moving around since college. My knee, I'm finally trusting it. So there's a lot of good vibes around Saquon, and I'm not opposed to him. But you said last time, right? No Jets for you?
Well, no Giants.
Or Giants, yeah. What?
And Jets. And probably Jaguars.
I'm going to put us back down there, too. I like the view when we're down there.
And probably Jaguars also.
Yeah, maybe Doug Peterson. That was the debate, right? Jets, Giants, and Jags. That was
Jags, right.
Yeah.
And listen, the Bears aren't like far out of that group, in my opinion.
I mean, they might be the head of that group.
Yeah, they might be the head of the class.
So we got Zeke Elliott potentially falling back to us. I do love Marquise Brown in this range. Again, this is kind of where I liked Amari Cooper, but with the Watson news not looking great, I'm kind of out on that. So I'm saying either Zeke or one of those 2 receivers if they fall. If not, I mean, maybe Allen Robinson. is the play.
I love Allen Robinson.
I do too. And that's kind of a good segue into one of the guys. We'll make our pick, and then we'll get into our featured segment here.
Well, the two receivers just went. So, I mean, it's going to come down to Zeke or AR.
And I'd be more than okay with either one of them. Do you have a preference between the two? I kind of like getting a poke out.
Logically, I feel like Zeke is probably the right choice. I like Robinson more. I pull for him more. You know what I mean?
Right. I get what you mean.
But Zeke's the right choice. I mean, now look, we're just building essentially the same team we built last time. Although didn't we get Debo instead of Kamara?
We got Debo. Yes, exactly. So we don't have 3 running backs here.
Right. Okay.
This
so
will
it's
be an
actually
interesting little twist here. To
right.
see what the
By accident, because the computer froze, we have a slightly different team than we had last week.
Well, I do love A-Rob, but I also, similar to last time, stacking up Allen and Davis would be pretty sexy.
Well,
as well.
You know how we feel about Gabriel Davis.
And I know you're not. If you've listened to this pod at all, we are just whipping it out for Gabe Davis this year. Bruce Hall, though, I'm very intrigued by as well. The Jets, we talked. That's why the Jets conversation started last time, right? Was we got a question about which rookie is your no-brainer number one, and to me, it is Breece Hall, and you were like, he's on the Jets. And I think that's a fair counter for sure.
Yeah, that's my counter. I know you know more about the ins and the outs and the numbers and stuff than I do, but I'll tell you this: I know who's on the Jets. Gabe Davis, I think, is like, you went to college, you know what I'm talking about. Like, there's maybe like a girl who's just like the hottest girl in college. She's so smoking hot, and then you go home over break. And you come back the next year and somehow she's even hotter.
Oh, okay. I was like, where's he going with this?
You know what I'm talking about? Because it's like we were all over Gabe Davis at the end of last year. We were trying to pick him up. If we're at the bar, we're trying to pick him up. And then the offseason happens, and now and you see her again, and you didn't think she could be any hotter, but somehow she is.
Somehow she is. I mean, way hotter too. This year he is just absolutely smoking. So yeah, I am in full agreement. Allen Robinson's still there, Truth. What are your thoughts? Do we stack up our guys, or do we consider going A-Rob? Probably stack it, right?
the stack is probably the right call. I feel so bad not taking A-Rob, but
it's such a good deal on
it. I love the Allen Davis stack.
Yeah, do we do it? What do you think?
Yeah,
A-Rob or Davis? You tell me a name, and I'm going to go with it because I love them both.
Davis.
All righty. Oh, it feels so gross passing up A-Rob, though.
Do you want to take him?
I want to take him because there's no chance he's going to make it back to us.
You're right. No, Davis isn't either. But
no, he's not. But yeah, we took Davis last time. Let's stack up A-Rob.
Okay. 909 Orbits points out Gabe Davis is a slut now because everyone's picking him up.
Yeah, true. Exactly. Not only is he Hunter, but he's being treated as such, deservedly so.
Right. Many people, ourselves included, absolutely throwing ourselves at this guy.
Well, so the future segment, and this is kind of a segue because Allen Robinson's part of this top 10 list, was the biggest offseason winners. And so this is the meat of and there goes our boy Gabe Davis. Part of me is like, why did we do this? But
I think it's okay. I mean, we have a stack on our other team. So
right. Yeah, exactly.
Let's take a chance on A-Rob.
We'll make sure to get Knox, Singletary, Jamison Crowder later. We'll load up on those guys. But let's quickly chat. And I don't think we need to linger on it because again, the point of this is the draft and the random banter that pops up. But 20 minutes in, we should at least cover what we promised to, and we could always cut clips of this to make it.
Yeah, one thing about us, we always keep our promises, folks.
Yes, and that is the offseason risers. Whether that was free agency, whether that was the draft, whether that was other people leaving and they're still at home. These are the people that have been either affected by people being added around them or removed by them. And the biggest winners, because I've been doing these drafts since February, the guys that I've seen rise in price from these, and also the guys that I really agree with rising in price, the guys that I really want to highlight here. And so these are the honorable mentions. Corduro Patterson only get an honorable mention, not because I'm worried about Tyler Algier. I don't think he's that good. And I think he's one of the most overhyped rookies coming in right now, but just because that's actually part of it. I'm not worried about him at all. And they've already started to talk about maybe alternating and getting Patterson back to that playmaking role in which he was. If you had him last year, you remember the first few weeks, the guy was the RB4 in fantasy. while he was going deep, making huge plays week in and week out.
Didn't you think they just used him horribly? Like they used him amazing. They used him amazing at first, and you're just like, wow, they've unlocked this guy, and then they just didn't.
Exactly.
Like it seemed so stupid to me. He was like 60% of their offense, and then they're like, all right, this game we're really going to throw everyone off. We're going to only give him like 4 carries and 1 target.
Right. It made no sense to me. It still baffles me, still boggles the mind here.
It bothers me.
We do have our pick coming up. But yeah, Patterson, in the hopes that just because they've lost so many playmakers, they did draft Drake London, but I could see him getting back into that playmaking, moving him around type of role. That's kind of the early hype. And also, whether he does or not, he's got the backfield to himself. Again, only a 5th-round rookie.
909 Orbit says breaking Cup signs 5-year, $110 million.
Wow. Deal. Deserved every penny, too. Good for him.
Cup can pick up a breakfast check every now and then.
Right, exactly. Derek Carr, breakfast check. Exactly. All right, let's make our pick, and then we'll talk about some of our other honorable mentions. I queued up Elijah Moore. I know you don't love the Jets, but nope. I do love Elijah Moore. Eli Mitchell as a 3rd running back could be nice right here, or Dalton Schultz to lock up a nice tight end, but I kind of like waiting for Dawson Knox. So Eli Moore, Eli Mitchell.
I would definitely go Mitchell.
Yeah, and he might make it back to us. I've seen him fall as far as like 80 before, but I don't want to risk.
He's not making it back to us. He's at the top of the list.
I feel like the running backs do drop a tier after him. So, and there goes our boy Eli Moore there. Afterwards, I do like Thielen. We had him last time, and just unsexy but interesting. I do like Hopkins.
Unsexy but interesting.
Hunter Renfro also intrigues me.
There's still some sexy names on this list.
I like Kenneth Walker. Remember last time we talked about how there's been at least one top 15 rookie running back for 6 straight years. It's probably going to be Breece Hall, but damn, it could be Kenneth Walker. And there's been, I think it was 5 of the last 7 years have had a top 10 running back. So that's why I always like getting rookie running backs.
What kind of woman do you think Christian Kirk is at the bar?
I mean, people value him a lot more. He's the one that has a ton of money. He's the one that you want because of the money and nothing really else.
I was looking at it like he's nice. She is nice looking, like not the hottest you've ever seen, but nice looking. But like it's gonna take so much to seal the deal. Like you're gonna have to buy this. You're gonna have to buy this woman 9, 10, 11 drinks, and they're expensive drinks.
Exactly. The top shelf, Grey Goose is nothing to them. They want something better than that.
Right. What do you have in the back?
Exactly. Your oldest bottle. Exactly.
Daniel says, who do you guys consider a quarterback wide receiver sleeper combo? I don't know if that's something you're prepared to answer off the top of your head.
So are we looking at like a late QB wide receiver stack? I could definitely answer that in 1 second because we're about to pick.
Yeah, stack. I'm thinking stack, definitely.
What do you think, Dalton Schultz or Hunter Renfro?
I like Renfro more, and I would try to get Knox.
Yeah, because we don't have a 3rd receiver yet, so I like getting like a nice steady 3rd receiver there. So in terms of a late QB receiver stack, well, I do like getting Renfro at this price range, and then getting Derek Carr not too later. I mean that's a great stack, and to kind of put us back into this conversation. Is Derek Carr one of our biggest offseason winners? A guy that, reasonable QB2 was actually a top 6 QB for the first 5 weeks of last year. So we've seen the upside. The guy can put up elite numbers, and then you give him Devontae Adams, maybe the best receiver in the game. So no way he couldn't be on a winner's list, but just an honorable mention to me because we'll get to the 10 names in a sec, but I love him. And Mike Evans as well, an honorable mention. Given that Godwin likely to miss a decent amount of time, given that Brady just even came back, like I kind of had Mike Evans crossed off my list of do not draft until we had Brady return. Mike Evans' game logs, 8 games without Chris Godwin, 7-104, 1 TD, 7-122, 1 TD, 541 a TD, 551 a TD, 447 a TD, 689, 2 TDs, 9-117 and a touchdown, 8-119 and a touchdown. Did you notice a trend to everything I said there, Truth?
The numbers were high and there were touchdowns.
Touchdown. Not a single game without Godwin. Right. He scored in every single game without Godwin is the point. And many of them over 100 yards, including last year, the 2 games at the end of the year. Just a monstrous target share. So I love Evans. Yes, they signed Gage. There's going to be a little more target competition here without Godwin, even when Godwin's out. But to me, that it's no brainer. Gronk's probably back too. But even still, Evans has to be considered a winner. But that's the honorable mentions. Back to your question about a late QB sleeper and stack. I like that question a lot. To me, I really, again, like Brandon Cooks. I know it's not late, but I like him in the middle rounds. And then Davis Mills goes in the last rounds. I really like Davis Mills. He had 4 games above 25 points last year as a rookie getting tossed in the fire. So I really like him. Otherwise, I think Kirk Cousins goes really, really late. So like Kirk Cousins and KJ Osborne, especially if you've already gotten a Justin Jefferson or the unsexy Adam Thielen earlier. I love the price on Kirk Cousins right now in this new Vikings offense coming over from the Rams, the Kevin O'Connell system. I've been loading up on Vikings. I think that is one of the best stacks by far that you can get late rounds. So that gives you a couple names. Let me know if you want even deeper than that, like Mac Jones. And
I think the Raiders is a legitimate answer.
Yeah, we talked about those.
That's who I keep reflexively coming back to.
I think we go our boy Knox here, even though he might be there in the book. Let's not let him get through.
Yeah, agree.
I don't want to risk it. And now we do have to queue up our next picks. I like Olave. I like Lazard.
Damian Harris.
Do we go our guy Singletary again? It just keeps stacking those bills. You can kind of see the big.
Do you think he would come back to us? No, probably not.
Singletary won't make it back next round. No, we're going to be picking at 101, and then our next pick won't be until 125. So yeah, no, there's no way we'll get him again.
I think if Singletary's here, you take him.
Yeah, I do too. I've been scooping him in every draft. James Cook, if he's gone, is their next potentially pass catching maestro. Christian Watson, high upside as a rookie. So I like all these guys. I do like Melvin Gordon too. So we got some names. We got some guys queued up here. I'm not into Damian Harris this year, truth.
No, I'm not particularly into him either.
We loved him last year, and we were right about it. I mean, he was great. He's great, especially in best ball. Amazing. 25, 30-point weeks. Might have a few of those, but with Pierre Stroud, they've just been all the moves this offseason in the backfield are gross to me. So yeah, you think Singletary over Olave? Because I really do like this rookie. But it's our.
I would take Singletary personally.
Me too. All righty. So we got him. And now we can get back into our feature segment. We haven't even gotten to our top 10 yet. We got the honorable mentions down for sure. Good to see you, Falanini.
I know.
Asking the stack too. Carr, Adams, Waller, Winston, AK-41, Mike T, Lance, Debo, Kittle. Ooh, great question.
That is a great question. I don't think you can take the Saints one because Mike Thomas is just too much of a question mark. If he's the third guy in your stack, I mean, you might end up with only 2 players in your stack. So I don't think you can take the Saints, even though it's sexy. I get it.
I like the first one. I like the Raiders.
The first one's probably my favorite.
Yeah, I mean Debo.
You know what? The first one's definitely my favorite.
Exactly, because Adams is the best player. I have Carr above Lance, and then like Waller, Kittle, pretty comparable. Maybe I have Kittle a little higher, but maybe I'm definitely going that first one. I like the Raiders stack a lot there. That's a great question. And we got some other good questions in there as well. But let me quickly touch upon some of these winners while we're in between.
Yeah, you're going to spend as long on all these as we did on honorable mention. That was the longest honorable mention segment ever. It's like, in the end, it's better to have been, 12th than like 4th on this list.
I'm going to go 50 minutes on the Broncos here.
Okay.
Alone. But yes, Russell Wilson himself going from the offense that attempted the 32nd or 31st most pass attempts in all but one of his seasons, just a complete misuse of his talent, just craziness. I laugh just thinking about that. He finally, whether it's a pass happy offense or not, it's going to be at least middle of the pack. That's kind of where Hackett has resided. But more importantly is his receivers. And this was a great stat shouting out Sal Vitri here. In 2 straight years, even with that low of pass volume, his top 2 receivers have ranked in the top 20. Yes, it's DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, 2 great talents, but I do really think Cortland Sutton is a great talent as well. So those guys are definite huge winners, guys I wasn't really looking at until they had the huge quarterback upgrade, and now I love it. It's good for, obviously, Javonte Williams, more touchdown chances. I do like Albert O, freakish athleticism at 4.5 40 at 6.7, like a monster. But to me, it's the receivers. And to me, it's also Sutton. I like Sutton. If I had to pick one of the 2, I prefer Sutton myself. Do you have a strong leaning on either Sutton or Judy?
I would lean Sutton. I'm a little bit worried. I mean, The injury history with Judy scares me a little bit, and also kind of some of this off the field stuff also scares me a little bit. I know that
he's already been, just for the record, he's been forgiven, like not forgiven, but like that's already been cleared. So that off field stuff. But on the same note, you mentioned the injuries, he's already dealing with the groin thing.
Right.
And
it just adds to kind of like a kind of bad vibe I'm getting from him. And so since I consider them pretty close anyway, I lean Sutton. It's maybe not the most sound logic, but that's it.
I'll give you even more sound logic in a second, but we got Valdez, Scantling, Woods, Watson at the top. I do like Zach Ertz, but we already have Knox. Madison's got some upside. I think we go receiver. What are your thoughts on Watson here?
I'm going to take your word on this. I don't know as much about Watson as you do, but I see the appeal of a potential 1 or 2 in the Green Bay passing game. He's available. I think you should grab him.
Yep. And that was, my winner number 8 is Allen Lazard. So this gives us kind of a window to talk about the Packers receivers. I do think Lazard is the probably number 1 receiver here just because he has that established rapport with Aaron Rodgers. And we know how important that is. Aaron Rodgers had the quote today that Lazard's been our dirty work guy for most of his career. Now he's getting an opportunity to be a number 1. I'm not worried about him at all stepping into that role. You got to like that he loves Lazard because, yes, Puff is Puff. But when it comes from Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if it is Puff. It's important to have the guy that Rodgers trusts, Rodgers likes. So I love Allen Lazard. That all being said, if Christian Watson can get it under, get the routes down, and yes, he's quote unquote raw coming out, he is a freak. 99th percentile speed score, 99th percentile catch radius, insane leaping ability. By far, nobody comes even close to this guy's athletic and just raw natural ability on the Packers roster. So should he build that rapport, should he earn Rodgers' trust, there's no way he's not the number 1. Thor talked about this. You go listen to that podcast if you like Rookies Talk. Amazing guest there from NBC Sports Edge there. Insane podcast. But Christian Watson, that was one of the biggest takeaways. He watched him at the Senior Bowl, and he was just so impressed with what he did. So either way, finding that number 1 Packers receiver is huge. Allen Lazard, definitely a big winner. The wide receiver 8 over the final 5 weeks of 2021, and now he doesn't have Devontae Adams. So that is one of the biggest winners. We are now on the clock, so we didn't queue up anybody. We're going to have to make a gut call here. Don't love Ramondre. I'm certainly not going Deshaun Watson. I do like this might be let's go Crowder. Let's stack our guy up because he might not fall to us on the way back. So that way we don't have to think about it. You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going Crowder there. Loading up on that Bills offense is always a good call. So at least we have stacked up Singletary, Crowder, and Knox. We did go Allen Robinson ahead of Gabe Davis. Are you having any second thoughts or regrets on that one?
Yeah, but I would have felt that way if we'd gone the other way too. I would have had regrets or second thoughts either way. They're 2 of my favorite guys this year.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got Davis last draft. So yeah, I like this.
We'll switch it up. In between the Lazard and Cobb winners, and we didn't even mention Cobb as like a potential winner. This is a pretty wild stat truth I just wanted to share with you because we keep joking about how unsexy Cobb is, but it's still usable. In games, he saw 5 or more targets last year. 5, 69, ooh, nice, and 2 touchdowns. 3 catches, 15 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 3 catches for 50 yards, and then 4, 95, and 1 touchdown. So 4 games were scores with 2 touchdowns in half of those games. 1 was 3 for 50, kind of a dud, but 3 of those 4 games were very, very good. And this is a guy going in the last rounds of drafts. So,
well, if we can get him in the last round, let's grab him in the last round. He's like the woman that you aren't really interested in picking up at the bar because she's not sexy, but then you end up going home and she actually really impresses you.
Shocks you.
Wow.
Impresses you. Yeah.
She's sexier than I thought.
Indeed. They were Randall Cobb to wrap up that one. To get another winner in there before our next pick, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, a huge target exodus there with the Cowboys with Amari Cooper, their number 1 target of last year, leaving. Blake Jarwin now hurt and probably not playing, and Michael Gallup likely out for at least till mid-October. I love Gallup. I think he's a great value. I think he's a great talent. And when he comes back, he's going to be in such a good spot. But this is the offense, the Cowboys. Number 1 in total yards and total points last year. 2nd in pass yards and top 5 in TDs of both years that Moore and Dak Prescott have been together. This is the best aerial pie, one of the best aerial pies out there. And really, there's not many melts besides CeeDee Lamb and Schultz. Maybe Zeke catches more. That's why I keep drafting Zeke, keep loving it. But this is a wide open and one of the most delicious pies. And apparently CeeDee Lamb has grown an inch and added like 10 pounds of muscle. Schultz, I know, holding out and whatnot, but this was the tight end 3 last year with now even more volume coming his way. Cowboys, all in on them. What are your thoughts, Truth?
It's gross, but I think you're right. I just hate praising the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But I know logically you're correct. These guys are big winners, and it is a huge and very appealing pie. So, yeah, you could do a lot worse.
Yeah, big winners of the offseason. We're about to be up. I don't see a ton of running backs I love here, and we already have 4 of them. So I'd say we either continue rolling on with receivers. I don't love Patrick or Hardman, so I don't love either of them. But maybe Tunyon or Irv Smith. I really like at tight end. Or Osborne, I know we just talked about as a potential receiver that we both like. Any leanings on any of these guys? Do we take we got to take somebody. I'm just going to take Irv. Fuck.
All right, take Irv.
Just get a backup tight end.
I don't love I'm not saying I don't love the Irv pick. I don't love it, but it's like I don't like any of the options right now.
Yeah, it does thin out pretty fast. I know we started
I'll tell you what though. Let's make sure we get Daryl Williams this time.
Yeah, this could be the pick right here. We're up right now. We'll be 149. That's still a little rich for me. 164. What's his average draft position?
I'm just saying it really bothered both of us when we didn't get him last time.
This might be where we have to take him. I agree. It really pissed us both off. Is he already fucking gone?
Someone must have watched the last podcast.
Oh, he is gone. When the hell did he get drafted?
I don't know.
I was like 149 might be a little early. Apparently not. There goes Watson. I was going to say maybe. Oh, he went 136. Holy shit. I was going to say, that's decent value on Watson. I was I hate that we started the podcast saying probably not drafting him. We already had Josh Allen, so I didn't think we needed to. But I was going to say maybe we just take the stab at him only getting a half season or something.
I don't think he would have been a good pick there. I'm going to be honest with you.
I love KJ Osborne here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think of the options that are available, he's probably the best one.
Yeah, because we have some pretty sick receivers now with a lot of upside on the bench. Like Debo, Allen Robinson, you're probably locking those 2 in most weeks. And then it comes down to Renfro, pretty steady and solid, even with Adams there. And then between Watson, Crowder, Osborne, I like that.
Yeah, it's a good squad.
I'm telling you, Irv Smith is such an athletic freak. I know you didn't love that pick, but
no, it wasn't that I didn't like the Irv Smith pick specifically. It was I didn't really like the choices at that point. I didn't like.
Yeah,
I didn't see a better obvious choice.
I know.
I would have liked to have had Daryl Williams, but he was off the board.
He was off the board. There's nothing we could do. And I'm not going to take him that early. I have him ranked at 140. He went 135. I'm all set there. We will have room for a couple running backs, I'd say, because we only have 4 so far and 6 receivers. We do have – I like our backs, though, and between Eckler, Zeke, Mitchell, Singletary. I think you're getting at least 2 with 18 to 20 points every week there. So yeah. I'm a big fan of what we built. I'll queue up a couple names. Njoku was a guy I was banging the table for over Irv Smith not too long ago. But, again, downgrade all those Browns right now with such an uncertain situation. I'll just keep queuing up. I do like Gus, the bus, Khalil Herbert. If anything happened to Williams Montgomery. Wandale's getting a lot of hype.
You're playing best ball. I'm not saying I agree with this. Donovan Peoples-Jones right there again. But what do you think of in best ball? What do you think of someone like Will Fuller who is going to get you, 35 points twice?
I think it's fine, especially this late because it's all.
We already have 6 good receivers.
Right, but it's all at the end of the day, all about total points. So even if he adds 70 total points to your team, at this point, that's pretty nice. And we don't know where he's going to go yet, but he's a guy that I am really into right now, just because I think it's great value. All right, so we got Josh Allen. I don't think we need to worry about getting a quarterback as much as I like Winston's value here. falling 8 picks below his ADP. I like this rookie for the Cowboys, Jalen Tolbert, and I like this rookie, Alec Pierce, for the Colts. I think either of those receivers makes decent sense. And I also like Tyrion Davis-Price, but we already have Eli Mitchell. So Tolbert, Pierce, what do you think?
I know very little about either of those guys. So if I were picking, it would be based on the team and the pie. So I'd probably take the Dallas guy, although I'd know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who you took. I was just going to say someone just took him.
Yeah, that was us.
It was us. It was us. Let me ask you something.
Ask me anything.
Anything. Wow. I was watching this show. This reminds me of a funny thing. I was watching this show one time when I was really high. And did you ever see the show Sneaky Pete on Amazon Prime?
I never saw it. No.
But you've heard of it, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. Yeah, right. I've never seen it.
All right. So I was watching it and I was enjoying it, but I was really high. This is like 3 or 4 years ago, probably. And I guess at some point I must have changed the channel, but I didn't realize I had changed the channel. And so I changed the channel and like to HBO, and Kong Skull Island was on. And so these guys going through the woods, or there's these guys going through the woods and like, with guns. And I'm like, all right, this is crime show, Sneaky Pete. I guess I missed when they like transitioned to the woods. And then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, King Kong just jumps the fuck out of the trees and just bashes the shit out of him. And I was like so taken aback. Yeah. Like I was just like, what the fuck just happened here? And then I realized I changed the channel. But I was like, I did not see that coming even a little bit. Like I didn't think there were giant gorillas on this show.
It's incredible. That's yeah, anyway, Sneaky Pete. What a twist.
No, I mean, it was a huge twist.
Awesome. Oh, that's great.
Anyway, sorry, a little tangent there, but
no apologies.
Popped into my head, and I was like, I got to tell somebody about that.
I'm going to go Gus Bus.
Yeah, we take the bus.
As much as I like the value on Alec Pierce falling, I mean, what do you think of Alec Pierce? You don't know much about him.
I don't want to pretend. I would take Gus, but that's because I know Gus and I don't know Alec Pierce.
Yeah. Well, and then Gus gives us an opportunity to get back into the winners. I know we haven't covered them all. We'll quickly show you who else we have queued up. But at number 5, I had J.K. Dobbins, but also this applies to Gus Bus. The Ravens, according to The Athletic, have done all the moves that signal getting back to their 2019 roots. And what was that? The run heaviest team, like one of the run heaviest teams this league has ever seen, certainly in the modern era of passing. And they beefed up the line, 3 lineman additions, their center, right guard, right tackle, which were the weak spots last year. Bam, bam, bam. They trade away Marquise Brown. They're going to run the ball in an insane clip. So yes, J.K. Dobbins, love him in those middle rounds as a potential monster, but also Gus Edwards in these late rounds where we just took him. They love feeding 2 backs either way. So I almost like drafting him more than Dobbins just because you can get him 10 rounds later, as you see right here. I'll take a piece of that backfield and this offense that's clearly going to go back to those roots in round 15 all day. So yeah, the Ravens backfield, huge winners of this offseason. Dobbins obviously the sexier piece, but I love the value you can get on Gus that we just pulled.
Yep.
Sweet.
OBJ is in our queue also.
Although
he's not on a team, but I definitely understand the appeal for best ball. Allen Robinson, winner number 6. We talked about that a little bit.
We did, yeah. It just says we should have probably covered him while we drafted him, but just to reemphasize the fact that since McVay took over, the Rams have had top 20 receivers in 4 of their 5 years, 2 top 20 receivers in 4 of their 5 years, is what I meant to say. And the only year with Stafford, they had 2 top 12 guys in points per game, with Woods being the wide receiver 12 before he went down. Kupp, obviously, this god last year. But there's only 1 year. Goff was just absolutely abysmal. Every other time, Kupp wide receiver 7, Woods wide receiver 14, Woods wide receiver 18, Kupp 19. Yeah, it was just every year there's been 2 top 20 receivers. That's why I was like, I love Gabe Davis, but there is the case that he's not as good as we think he is. And Allen Robinson, as bad as he was last year, like we know he's an absolute stud, and he's about to have the best quarterback of his career. Like, I can't wait to see what he does with Stafford. He might be a top 5 receiver, Kupp like right obviously at the top as well, but I can't wait.
I agree. Tunes, by the way, says he agrees with the Tolbert pick. Loved it. He says Tolbert has a chance to be the wide receiver 2 for the first few weeks in a top passing attack.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm Nothing else to say with Gallup in top 2 weeks. I mean, who knows if Gallup has a setback, who it might be. And yeah, we hyped up CeeDee Lamb for sure at the beginning of the show, deservedly so. He could be a guy that breaks fantasy this year, CeeDee Lamb. Like there again, no real competition besides Dalton Schultz. The guy's name is Dalton Schultz. What else do you need to know? Like CeeDee Lamb could go berserk and break fantasy. We have to pick here. Which I do love Kendrick Bourne. I like Odell Beckham, but like we know what we're getting with Bourne, and we know he's going to put up some stats. You okay with just going Bourne here?
Yes, I am okay with that.
I'm a big Bourne fan. Again, wide receiver 12 last year, had multiple 28-point plus weeks. Like that's best ball gold here. As late as he goes, absolutely in love with Kendrick Bourne. I would say we probably want one more running back. We have 2 more picks, so I'd say a running back. Maybe a backup to Josh Allen as well is how I'd probably wrap this draft up, even though I do love Velus Jones.
You do love Velus Jones.
He's my favorite last round pick. But yeah, Allen Robinson, way back to circle it all back. Absolutely in love with him. The other guys I had on the list, Juju Smith-Schuster, don't need to really go into much other than the fact that he's playing with Pat Mahomes now. It might be the number 1 receiver there, given that they didn't make any insane moves. A lot of similar Sky Moore types, but I've seen like Juju becomes this year's Cooper Kupp, and I don't think that's the level he gets to, but I could see him becoming a top 12.
It's entirely possible there will not be any this year's Cooper Kupp. Like that was one of the greatest receiving seasons ever. We can't be like, whoa, who's going to win the Triple Crown this year and lead in everything? And I mean, probably no one.
all my favorite late round running backs are gone too. Foreman.
We have a lot of running backs. We got a lot of running backs.
We've got 5. I wouldn't call it a lot.
All right. I thought we had more.
I like Stoney. Yeah, you probably keep thinking we have what's his name, Kamara, and we don't.
I do
Ingram
think that.
In case there is a suspension. All righty, it's our pick. Do we go Mac Jones again and just back up Josh Allen or like Jared Goff, or do we just get our guy
unsexy?
Yeah.
I mean, how strongly do we feel about taking a 0?
On the bye week, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to go one more receiver. I'm going to go Velus. Yeah, he's our guy, and then we can
you want to go Velus.
I got to go him. He's our guy. I keep going him in the last round. So now we got 9 receivers, 5 running backs. I do think we probably take a quarterback just because the bye week. And Allen did. I was looking at his game logs. Like he had a couple games of like 15 points. That shitty weather game with the Pats, and like there might be a week where a Mac Jones or a Jared Goff. There's no more.
You're not allowed to take Carson Wentz.
No, I don't want Carson.
I don't want him in the locker room.
If Mac Jones or Jared Goff fall to us, I'd say one of them. And if not, then maybe we go Sony. Maybe we go Ingram. The one other late round running back, there's a couple here. Rex Burkhead had some really big games last year, which is so gross, but like they own similar to the Patterson argument. They only added like a 4th round rookie who I love Dameon Pierce. I think he's going to be a stud. Keontae Ingram is the rookie the Cardinals added. Most say Daryl Williams has that job, and he probably does, but there's upside there. Our boy James White, we've always loved him, but they did add Pierre Strong, who could kind of take over the pass catching role there. Is Pierre Strong? People are taking all the – oh, no, he isn't drafted. So Pierre Strong's like the upside Patriots running back if you didn't want to go gross unsexy. Kyron Williams just broke his foot, so – no need to go him. I also like sneaky.
Look at Chris Carson. Look at Chris Carson on the board.
Yeah, he might not even play football this year.
I know.
The neck injury,
that's why he's on the board. Sure.
Right. Absolutely. So those are a couple of the names. Marlon Max with the Texans too. He could get some volume, but that's if we want to go a running back. Otherwise, I say we stick to either Mac Jones or Jared Goff with our next.
I'd probably like Goff more, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think I do too. And Mac Jones went anyways. So and there goes Goff. So I mean, do we even bother? I don't know that we bother with the QB. I think we just take the 0 in the bye week and hope for the best with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's health. Because if Allen gets hurt, we're not going to win this thing anyways, right? So like
we've invested so all in on this guy. Maybe James White. Ooh.
I mean, James White. I like Boston Scott a lot as like the Eagles version of James White. Because White's coming off the injury and they drafted his replacement, and like the Patriots are always so fucking annoying.
Oh yeah, they'll cut you loose.
I'm gonna go Boston Scott. He had more touchdowns Well, everybody had more touchdowns than Miles Sanders last year because he had exactly
literally
0.
everyone. Right.
Everybody in the league had 4 touchdowns that scored. Boston Scott's had more 20-point days than Miles Sanders. I think he's one of the best late round picks that you can make. So yeah, we're ended up loading up. I can pull the board back up for you guys so you can take a peek at it. But there we go. So that's going to be our draft 1 QB. That's the benefit of Josh Allen. I think he can get away with it.
I think so too. Huge upside.
So the other, just to wrap up the conversation, and again, any questions you guys have, it's certainly, last people at the time asked about best high cereal and shit like that. Get us going on a rant. That's what I want. But I do want to just wrap up because we advertised top 10 offseason winners. So Rashad Bateman has to be in there. Showed just big boy ability, top 5 in contested catch rate last year. Looked like a monster. And now with so many targets vacated, Marquise Brown was top 10 in targets last year. Those have to go somewhere, even if they get more run heavy. But no team, only 2 teams vacated more overall air yards, more overall targets. So Rashad Bateman if he's the stud that I think he looked like he was, will be a beast next year. We already talked about Gabe Davis. They lost Sanders. They lost Cole Beasley. Tons of targets up for grabs in the best offense in the league. Crowder also sliding into that slot role that made Beasley a top 25 receiver in back-to-back years. Before last year, he kind of crumbled, but yeah, great role for Crowder, who's a better Cole Beasley at this point. Gabe Davis, last time out there, 8 catches, 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And you remember the quote from the GM, stud, I want to go to war with him type of shit. I go to war with Gabe Davis any day. I mean, come on, get you horny. We've already talked about Jalen Hurts a million times on this pod, so we don't need to spend too much time in there, but was already the quarterback 6 in fantasy points per game, number 1 in points per drop back, and now you add A.J. Brown, the run after the catch special, which was the Eagles were bottom of the pack and runs after the catch yards created by the receivers. A.J. Brown, just an absolute monster. So you're going to get that Konami. You're going to get better weapons. I don't know how much time we've talked about James Conner, but he's my number 1 winner, given he returned to the place that made him the running back 5 last year. And when Edmonds was out, he was the running back 1. The guy averaged over 23 PPR points per game in the 5 games without Chase Edmonds, nearly 21 touches per game, almost 5.5 targets, 5.4 targets per game, and 100% of the goal line carries. He ranked 8th in red zone touches as anyways, ended up scoring 17 touchdowns. If he stays healthy, the guy is a lock for another top 5 running back season, but you can get him at running back 14 right now. One of the biggest winners. The best part about it, just pair him with Daryl Williams in round 15. I guess we couldn't tonight because somebody else was somehow even higher.
Yeah.
Literally than us, maybe, but also certainly on Daryl Williams. But you can pair those 2 up, lock up the backfield, and have yourself a top 10 running back for the entire season. So those are the winners. That's kind of the recap of it all. Whew. All righty, Truth. What else do you got for me?
Well, I mean, I have plenty of just stuff to talk about, but are you good on, have you said what you need to say about football?
Those were the winners I wanted to get through. So I'd love to get into the banter part of it. I want to see what people had to say. I'm just trying to find the team we drafted, completed. I've done, as you can see, I'm a sick man. I think this is the one we just drafted. Yeah, view full draft. So we can kind of pull this up and keep it in the background so you guys can see what we did, where we ended up. Yeah, let's recap the draft real quick, and then whatever weird questions you have for me and whatever the people have. So we went Eckler. The only other guy I'd consider there was maybe Chase, but I think that's a little too rich. Henry or Dalvin Cook also in consideration, but I like Eckler where we got him. Deebo Samuel, Josh Allen. We considered Kamara where we went Deebo, but with our team chemistry here, I kind of like what Deebo brings to the table. J.A., again, becoming that 3rd-round guy I just take every time. Such a lock for QB1 production almost every week. We went Zeke, just like we did last time, round 4. We had the choice between Robinson and Gabe. We went A-Rob. I don't hate it. Number 6 in our winners. Eli Mitchell, love the play here. Averaged over 20 touches per game in his starts in the always sexy Kyle Shanahan system. Love Renfro in the Patriots slot role. Dawson Knox stacking up. Devin Singletary stacking up. Jamison Carter stacking up our Bills. Love it. Christian Watson, maybe he emerges as the number 1, maybe not, but worth the upside stat there. Osborne, Tolbert. I mean, just loading up on these receivers that any given week could blow up for 20 points. Well, filling up the backfield with Gus Edwards and Boston Scott. Some unsexy but just usable volume.
Yeah,
there.
but they are unsexy, but that's an overall very sexy team.
I like it a lot. And we didn't even mention Irv Smith as our backup tight end. I mean, no Conklin there. Athletic freak, just looks like one of those guys that could be an absolute monster if we get health. I love this team. I think it's a great squad. I think we've done very well again, Truth. What about you?
Yeah, I think we killed it. I had some reservations about some of them. Then when you went down the line, I was just like, wow, we got a lot of players.
Yeah, it all kind of came together pretty nice there for sure.
Check this out. So here's I get so much material from just the ticker line, like the news ticker line, just stuff that's happened. They get so many funny headlines. I saw this one a couple of years ago. This news flash. Oh no, it actually was like a notification that came across my phone because I was subscribed to like some news magazine or whatever. And it just flashes across the screen. Fidget spinners should be fun, but some have caught on fire and some people have choked on them. And I was just like, they were obviously like using them wrong, right?
How do either of those things happen?
I was just like, they didn't read the instructions.
How do fidget catch on fire?
I mean, you work in a school. You work in a school. I bet you've had to use fidget spinners.
Of course, right? I know what a fidget. I have one myself. I like a fidget spinner.
Sure. Oh, my wife like uses stuff like that all the time, and my daughter. And none of the ones they've ever used, they've never even come close to catching on fire.
No, I can't even imagine.
Or being choked on.
How would it catch on fire? What would you do to a fidget spinner?
I don't know. This is the thing. There was no more information with the headline, so I was just like, this is fantastic.
Weapons of mass destruction, fidget spinners, like released. Who swallows a fucking fidget spinner?
I don't know, but the fire one's more impressive. Like the only way for them they say like, oh, they could catch on fire. The only way they could catch on fire is if you doused them in gasoline and then just like, threw a book of matches on top.
They don't look flammable either. Like, wow, that's quite the headline.
Right. Absolutely. Sometimes I see a headline like that and I'll click on the article and read it. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm just going to leave that alone. I don't even want to know anymore because it's way funnier not knowing how it caught on fire.
Yeah, exactly. And Wolfpack, we forgot to do this on the last stream as we were getting great comments and a little lighter engagement tonight. And that's fine. We didn't really advertise this. They didn't know at the time. But one last kind of thumbs up call. If you're still here with us, help us get out to more people, but also toss it in there. Any questions you have. You guys were great in the chat last time. I think we're missing our guy, Gary W., who was also stoned while watching. Loved it. Talking about his high cereal choices and stuff of that nature. But yeah, no, toss it that like. I always love doing these drafts. They're always so fucking fun.
Hey, I had a funny idea for an episode of a show. So here's a good scene I thought of, like for a sitcom. I know you're working on a script yourself. This is a funny thing I thought of. So like someone has a family member die like unexpectedly. And so like you make them
hilarious.
Yeah, no, right. So it's a wonderful premise to start things off, right? Want to get them laughing right away. But so anyway, you make a friend, you make them like a lasagna, you make food for people when people die, right? And you bring it by. But then like the person didn't seem like appreciative enough of getting it and maybe like leaves it in the freezer for a day or two. And so then you like consider maybe sneaking in and taking it back and you get caught, obviously, taking it back from their freezer.
That's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like you can
right?
see Larry.
It is, right? It is, right? But it's a funny premise, right?
Right. Like Larry Davis could be told to go get ice and he goes into the freezer and he sees his lasagna.
Right,
he's like,
exactly.
And
so then he's like,
appreciate this. So he walks out you see him leaving the party and somebody's like stopping him like, hey, that's my lasagna. I can totally see that. That's fantastic. You can just write some great dialogue out of that situation. Absolutely.
Right. Well, maybe, we get a couple years into don't steal that, by the way, people. I think it's a very funny idea. A couple years into the Roto Street Journal show, we could use that in an episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Roto Street Journal show.
CJ tries to reclaim a lasagna he gave someone.
CJ would be like CJ is Larry David. Like that is CJ's spirit animal right there. Happy birthday, by the way, to CJ.
Yeah.
Our one of the founding fathers, the crucial cogs of doing all the dirty work of RSJ. Happiest of birthdays to CJ. We probably still wouldn't be here, honestly, without CJ doing what he does behind the scenes. So thank you so much, CJ, for everything you bring to the table. Happiest of birthday there. Yeah, he said he didn't have any great plans tonight when I texted him, but I hope he gets something lined up.
Here's another idea for a show I had.
Yeah.
All right. So like,
those big down, you got to send these to me. I'm going to work these in.
You know those shows like Searching for Bigfoot or something, where like,
of course,
there's guys like searching through, and it's like every episode, like they almost find Bigfoot, but not quite. They're like, there's evidence, and they're like, oh, there he is in a clear, and they're like, oh, nope, it's just a dog or something like that. Right. But like the whole episode, they're positive they're finally going to find Bigfoot. So I was thinking about a show similar to that, like, but for flat earthers, like where guys are like every episode they're like searching for like the edge of the earth, and they're like every single episode they think they're going to find it, and then oh no, it's just the ravine.
We're going,
just a cliff.
Yep, just a standard.
Like you get a whole season of that. Like, I think we're coming up on. Oh no, that's just a slight dip in the earth. No,
Kyrie could lead that charge right there, man. Imagine him being like the host of the show, the host of the expedition.
That would put the butts in the seats. But yes, anyway, that's another idea I had for a show, Flat Earthers.
Absolutely. I actually changed an episode already based on a random. Remember we were talking about like Christian Kirk and how he was a fur coat guy last episode, and then how he takes like umbrage to it.
yes.
That's going to be my third episode. Is like Christian Kirk just going off on Twitter, be like, these assholes think I'm a fur coat guy. Like, have me on the show and I'll defend, and then like suddenly we have to have Christian Kirk on the show and like something of that nature. So Christian Kirk, if you are not a fur coat guy, if that pisses you off that we think you are, please, by all means, come defend yourself. That'd be a funny as hell episode though, for sure.
Oh, that'd be great. Did I ever tell you about the,
No, I just said, oh man, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Well,
you saying, did I ever tell you about the time? What?
Well, I was just thinking about the time we were eating dinner at the table. This is kind of recently, like a year or two ago or something. And like we were eating these really good burritos. And I'd had a couple, and like
homemade or from somewhere?
Yeah. Like Anna makes really good burritos. She goes like, and I just kind of look up and I go, man, I think I want a third one. And Anna just looks at me like I'm the biggest fucking asshole in the world. Just like, and I was like, I mean, maybe she's like judging me because I've had a lot of food and, maybe I've put on a little weight or whatever. But then it came out. I was like, wow, what are you looking at me like that? It came out that we had a completely different interpretation of what I had just said. She thought I was saying I wanted a third kid. And I was saying, which she was just like, right, no way. But I just wanted another burrito.
That's awesome.
yeah, that's married life, buddy.
That's what I get to look forward to.
A bunch of stuff. That's one of the things. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We could have a whole episode where I could just talk you through the finer points of marriage and some of the funnier things that you'll encounter.
Oh, hell yeah. No, that could be a wedding venue this weekend, actually. All the joy of planning a wedding. So fun.
You're going local, of course, right?
We're looking. So Hills is from Connecticut. So we're actually looking out in the Connecticut coastline area.
Nice.
Connecticut, I will say this for wedding wise, almost all the venues come with an open bar. Like the prices are very reasonable compared to around here. It's a great spot. I guess the benefit of our family being there is nice too. But
that's also nice.
That's also very nice. But yeah, very, very great price points and open bars being included. Very, very
Roto
nice.
Street Journal is going to close that place down.
The open bar, we'll get our money's worth for sure from the RSJ crew. No doubt about that. Oh man,
all right, dude.
I love that idea of the third burrito though. That's like another screenplay scene because I was listening to a book and they were saying some of the best, like whether it's comedy, drama, or a mix of the both, the biggest emotion that you want to go for is people being misunderstood. And like that, because we know the audience will know something that the characters don't, that whole dramatic irony, whatever you want to call it. And that is something that as an audience, we can like cringe on both sides of like the person being angry and then the person being misunderstood. And like, we understand where they're coming from, but why they're both off. And like,
I got all sorts of stuff like that. If you're interested in that, like the burrito thing's one, but remember I pitched you that idea the time that we were talking about playing Catan and you texted me like, I want to ravage your asshole. And then, and like, it didn't happen, but it occurred to me that like in a vacuum, like, because my texts show up on my computer and my kid uses my computer sometimes. And I was like, you know, just in a vacuum, what if my kid was on my computer and all of a sudden just a text from you came up that was like, I want to ravage your asshole. And then like, you know, it would, you know, say my wife would find out, and then there would be some drama about whether or not we were having an illicit affair. And next thing we know, everywhere we go, we're having to just deny that we're like in this. Well, I saw that text. Exactly. Like, no, I was talking about a board game.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah. Okay, honey. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what a regular person.
Of Catan.
Sure. You really expect me to believe that? Like you would talk about ravaging someone's asshole.
I could just see the conversation.
And it's like, no, that's totally how I talk.
It's like I could just see it now. Like you're outside, you're smoking a bowl, getting ready for baked best ball or whatever, and Serena walks in to talk to Anna, and she's like, "Mommy, I was just playing a game on Daddy's computer, and somebody texted
like, what does it mean to ravage someone's asshole?"
Well, as I said, the progression's like, what's ravage mean? And then like, why? Why do you ask that? Well, somebody said they wanted to ravage Daddy's asshole.
Who's this Trakoff guy?
Who's Trakoff?
Oh, you mean the Wolf of Roto Street? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, of course. Yes.
See, man. That's a great example of one too. If you like the whole misunderstanding.
Like misunderstood. Like, yeah, we had laughing our asses off, texting each other demented trash talk. And then and that could be like, it could be over Catan, it could be like a fantasy game, like
could be over literally anything.
Could be over anything. Because like I've probably texted you about ravaging your asshole multiple times, whether it's a fan. Exactly. Like that's not the first time I've mentioned doing some bad things to you and you're behind. So yeah.
Hey, I got one other thing and then I gotta go. You ever think about like first world problems? Like problems we have typically. It's kind of like one of my kind of like favorite genres is just first world problems, stuff we complain about, and then we're like, God, we have such cushy lives that we would ever even think about this yet. So this happened not that long ago. My kid was complaining because he couldn't work the rear air conditioning controls in the car with his feet.
Oh my God. That's great. Dante, was it? Or was it Serena?
This was Serena, yeah. And it was because she was wearing new shoes.
Oh.
So I was like, wow.
That might be the ultimate example of a first world problem.
I got a lot more, but I'm not going to use them all on this one episode. But
that could be top.
Once you know the show hits it big, at some point when we're all making a lot of money, you know the Wolf's kid should be in the back seat of his car complaining about how she can't work the air conditioning controls with her feet because she has new shoes on, and that's when the Wolf realizes he's got to like give his kid a body check. Because like, you know, he didn't have it like this when he was growing up.
Yeah, when I only had front air conditioner, like
or when I was a kid, it was just roll down the windows.
God forbid you have a fucking car. Like,
and it was a manual turner for the window.
Walking to school in the snow, never mind that. Like it's just so how many layers of first world problems.
There's like four just in there.
Just like car, first of all, like very nice to have a car. You got a car with air conditioning, very nice to have. You got
rear air conditioning,
rear air conditioning. Like,
and then being upset that you can't reach said rear air conditioning controls with your feet because you're wearing new shoes.
You can't just lean over. You got to reach it with your feet. That is just that. I don't know that I've seen such a layer.
5 layers. That's 5 layers.
There is a lot of layers of first world problems in one first world problem.
Well, if you like stuff like that, I got loads of this stuff.
Oh, I love that stuff. Oh, that's fantastic. I think we got to end on that, like the ultimate first world problem. If you listeners have something to talk about,
come up with a better first world problem than that. I dare you. And this is real, by the way. I didn't make that up.
Yeah, send it to me at Roto Street Wolf. Send it in the comments to this video. I read them all. I love seeing when you guys interact. I love to hear some of the positive words you guys had on the last Big Ball. Is why we're here. Big Best Ball. Doing it again. And that also beside the fact that I just really enjoy doing these. It's nice. Today was a little more structured, maybe a little too structured in my opinion, with too many points. Because as you saw, we didn't get through half of them until the end. So maybe we just kind of go with this is a draft and we're going to free roll our talk the whole time from the future. Who knows? We're learning as we go. You guys let us know what you enjoy, what you like about it, what we could do better, because we're just always interested in your feedback. But we love this shit. This is fun. This is a good show. We hope the chat comes back more active next time for sure. We had like 35, 40 live comments last time.
We'll advertise it better next time.
It kind of came out of nowhere for sure.
It's all right. It was cool. It was still fun to talk.
Absolutely. And cheers to anybody that caught the replay. Thanks so much. And if you're still here somehow with us here at the end, the thumbs up does continue to help us grow. If you like these type of videos, likes and subscribe, joining the channel, get us back over that 2K hump would be so greatly appreciated as we head from 2K to 30K to who knows how much the Wolfpack grows. But best of luck to all you guys if you're doing those best ball drafts. We didn't even promote the fact that you should use code RSJ if you play on Underdog. We'll match up $100 of deposit. It will kick back to your boys as well, which is really appreciated. Shows that we can have a little good power from the Wolfpack there. So if you like the stream, you want to touch your hand. And we did a $25 draft for a shot at $2 million tonight. All the stuff we should have promoted about an hour ago. But there is right now going on a $5 draft for a shot at $75,000. It's called the Puppy. And they have a few of these puppies emerge throughout the summer. They're so much fun. They're a great way to get used to the best ball and kind of play with it without having to invest. I know I keep saying it's like only $25, but $25 is like, it's not nothing. It's a dinner. It's decent change.
Used to be a dinner.
Yeah, that's true. Not even anymore.
That's an appetizer.
So to the 25 gets you a shot $2 million. That's why we keep doing those when we go live. But I'm doing a ton of these $5 ones to keep testing out new strategies, learn best ball construction, all that stuff. So if you don't want to go to the point of $25 for $2 million, toss in $5 and get used to the puppy. It's awesome. Best ball is just so fun. And again, the playoffs were very profitable for us here at Roto Street Journal because of Gabe Davis, because of Josh Allen's. That's why we probably keep going back to him. But we're hoping the regular season this year is just as profitable for sure. So, yeah, promoting that here at the tail end. But if you stayed all the way through, maybe that will be enough to convince you to test out Underdog. Again, code RSJ or link in the description as well to give it a toss out. And all our content either way. If you like writing, you like all the videos, you can find us on YouTube, but writing at rotostreetjournal.com. My rankings, rotostreetjournal.com/bigboard, updated routinely. I think that's all I got to promote other than I'm at Roto Street Wolf. So, Truth, anything else?
I got nothing else to promote.
The Fantasy Fullback Dive, the podcast, we paved your path. So if you prefer audio and you want to listen, or you're stuck at work and you can't watch us live, but you want some audio in the background, the Fantasy Fullback Dive is where we pave your path to 2022 titles. All righty. RotoStreetJournal.com, Breed and Feed Fancy Wolves. I'm the Wolf.
I'm the Truth.
In a world full of fancy sheep, get baked and do best ball. Later, guys.